Case. Hey, what's up? I'm Carlos. Today, we're going to be removing the bottom case. First, shut down the computer and unplug all of the cables. Next, press the caps lock key and verify that the LED doesn't turn on. Now, close the computer and turn it over. Remove the 6 pentalobe screws from the bottom case. Position the bottom case fixture so that the red lever is at the bottom and the tethered corner braces are at the top. Use 2 quick clamps to secure the bottom case fixture to the table. Squeeze the handle on the clamps to tighten them. Lift up and position the corner braces according to the size of the computer that you're servicing. Keep the corner braces outward for a 15-inch model. Move them inward for a 13-inch model. Once the corner braces are set, tighten the thumb screws by turning them clockwise. Place the computer in the fixture so that the bottom case is up and the display hinge is at the top. Push the 4 sliding locks inward to hold the computer in place. Press the 2 rollers inward. With gloved hands, attach the suction cup at the lower left edge of the bottom case. Pull the suction cup about ½ centimeter, just high enough to lift the bottom case and release the 2 snaps. Don't insert a black stick into the opening, since using a black stick in this way could damage the battery. Move the suction cup to the lower right corner. Pull the suction cup to release the remaining 2 snaps. Then, remove the suction cup. Insert your index fingers into the narrow opening between the top case and the bottom case. To protect the computer assembly, keep the opening no more than a finger's width. Position both hands so that they are braced in the recessed areas of the fixture. Pull the bottom case toward you. The spring fingers that secure the bottom case can release suddenly. To prevent the bottom case from sliding over sensitive components, apply gentle and steady pressure to slide the case less than 1 centimeter. Remove the gloves and disengage the 2 rollers. Remove the bottom case from the fixture. Place the protective battery cover on the battery. If you are replacing the bottom case only, then continue with the reassembly instructions. Now, if you're performing an additional repair on that same computer, don't perform the repair while the unit is in the bottom case fixture. Instead, what you're going to do is release the 4 sliding locks, then transfer that machine to an ESD-safe surface. At that point, you can go ahead and refer to the service guide on how to disconnect the battery. Now, let's replace the bottom case. A replacement bottom case includes a red tube that protects the air loops. Pull the tube out of the air loop strip and discard it. Retain the original bottom case until the repair is complete. Write the original system serial number on the inside of the replacement bottom case. You might need a magnifying glass to read it. If you had disconnected the battery cable for another repair, reconnect it. Place the computer on the bottom case fixture, making sure the back edge is away from you. Remove the battery cover. Engage the 4 sliding locks, not the 2 rollers. Position the bottom case so that its front edge rests on the shelf of the lower 2 sliding locks. Align the back of the bottom case to the vent antenna module. The alignment is correct when you can feel that the long edge of the bottom case is flush with the smooth plane of the vent antenna module. When set up correctly, the notches at each rear corner show an equal gap. Look at the plus shape formed by the intersection of the bottom case to the top case to determine if it's aligned properly. If the bottom case were transparent, you could see the 2 rows of spring fingers inside the bottom case start to align with the metal tabs on the vent wall. Hold light pressure near the back center edge of the bottom case while slowly engaging the red lever. Use caution when moving the red lever. If you push it all the way, you could bend the bottom case or damage the red lever spring. As soon as the rear corners of the bottom case meet the top case corners, disengage the lever. Check the alignment of the bottom case. Look again at the plus shape formed by the intersection of the bottom case to the top case to check alignment. If they're slightly misaligned, use the gripping texture of the gloves to gently apply pressure to adjust the case into alignment. If applying pressure does not realign the bottom case, remove the bottom case and try again. Press the sides of the bottom case first to snap the 2 clips in the top case. Then, press the middle of the bottom case for the 2 remaining clips. Disengage the 4 sliding locks. Remove the computer from the bottom case fixture. When storing the bottom case fixture, make sure that the red lever is not engaged. Keeping the red lever vertical or fully open protects the inner spring. Check all sides of the bottom case for proper alignment with the top case. Install the 6 pentalobe screws. Thanks for watching. Be sure to click on any of the links below to read more about your first and last steps. MacBook Pro, 13-inch, late 2016, 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports. Vent antenna module. Hey, what's up? I'm Carlos, and today we're going to be removing and replacing the vent antenna module. Let's join our technician Laura as she works on this repair. She's going to be showing us how to use the cool new antenna tool. Use the antenna tool to grasp the connector head of the wireless antenna connector. Pinch the antenna tool arms, then pull the tool straight up to disconnect the antenna cable. Repeat this process for the other wireless antenna cable. Remove the T5 antenna screw from the wireless antenna bracket. Remove 4 T5 screws from the T-con board. Use the torque driver to remove 12 identical 1 IPR screws from the vent antenna module. Tilt the T-con board with 2 flex cables toward the display hinge. Locate the vent opening near the EDP cable. Insert the flat end of a black stick into the vent. Using the black stick as a lever, press it down to lift the vent antenna module from the top case. An audible click tells you when the vent antenna module unclips from the top case. Be sure to only lay the black stick on the rear wall and not the EDP cable. Carefully route the 2 antennas through the rear wall as you gently lift out the vent antenna module. Now, let's show you how to replace it. If you happen to have a replacement vent antenna module, like this one, temporarily borrow the cable sleeve. Then on the original module, slide the 2 antenna cables into the cable sleeve so that it extends over the metal crimp. Route the 2 antennas and grounding clip through the opening in the rear wall. Position the vent antenna module in the top case. Then remove the antenna sleeve. Gently press down in the middle of the vent antenna module to seat it into the top case. You should hear a click when it seats. Reinstall 12 1IPR vent antenna module screws. Reinstall the T5 antenna grounding screw. Use tweezers to position the antenna cables over the connectors on the logic board. Then use your fingers or the solid end of the antenna tool to reconnect the 2 cables to the logic board. Reinstall the 4 T5 T-con board screws. The shoulder screws are the 2 outer T5 screws. Now, while Laura made that repair look easy, I'm sure you might still have some questions. If you do, take a look at the page below. MacBook Pro, 13-inch, late 2016, 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports. Display assembly. Hey, I'm Carlos, and today we're going to remove and replace the display. Let's watch as our technician Shane performs this procedure. Remove 4 T3 spring tensioner screws on the rear wall. Open the display 90 degrees and place it over the edge of the table. Remove 6 T8 display hinge screws. Pull the display toward you about 15 degrees. Then, lift the display up and off the top case. Now let's replace the display, but keep in mind the display assembly does include the T-con board and spring tensioners. Position the T-con board and spring tensioner cables in the top case. Adjust the display on the top case so that the display hinges align with the screw holes. Loosely install the 6 T8 display hinge screws in the order shown. Close the display. Align the top case to the display by checking all 4 corners. Tighten all 6 display hinge screws. Roll the spring tensioners into the rear wall. Make sure the spring tensioners are beneath the T-con board. Then align the spring tensioner screw holes and reinstall the 4 T3 screws. If you'd like more information, plenty of links below. Go ahead and click on them and we could spend some more time together. Late 2016, 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports. Logic board. Hey, what's up? I'm Carlos, and today I'll be showing you how to replace a logic board. Now, before we start this repair, we'll want to be sure that we've gone over all of the first steps on the page below. Now, keep in mind too that a new BMU Mylar cover is included with the replacement logic board. Gently peel the BMU Mylar cover off the BMU board, then reattach the battery cover. Remove 2 T5 trackpad cable cowling screws. Then remove the trackpad cowling. Use the flat end of a black stick to disconnect the trackpad flex cable from the logic board. Loosen the battery cover to route the trackpad flex cable through the slot. Then reattach the battery cover. Rotate the computer to more easily access the keyboard flex cable. Use the flat end of a black stick to lift the tab and the locking lever. Gently ease the keyboard flex cable from the connector using your fingers. Rotate the computer again so that the display hinge is at the top. Remove the 2 T5 screws and the cowling from the audio cable. Use the flat end of a black stick to disconnect the audio flex cable from the logic board. Remove 4 T5 logic board screws. Hold the logic board by the edges and tilt it at a 15-degree angle. Carefully remove it from the top case. Follow the instructions in the service guide to prepare the original board for return to Apple. Now, let's replace the logic board. Make sure that both foam gaskets are present on the Thunderbolt 3 ports. And refer to the service guide to transfer the EDP flex cable, the heatsink, the thermal duct, and the flash storage to the replacement logic board. Align the 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports on the logic board to the openings in the top case. Then move the cables aside as you lower the board. Plug in both ends of a USB-C charge cable to both Thunderbolt 3 ports. Do not plug the cable into power. Lightly press on the opposite edge of the board to hold it in place and to align the screw holes with the screw bosses in the top case. Reinstall the 4 T5 logic board screws. The short T5 screw goes in the top left corner, above the fan. Unplug the USB-C charge cable. Reconnect the audio cable. Then reinstall the cowling and 2 T5 screws with the shorter screw at the bottom. Reconnect the keyboard flex cable and press the locking lever flat. Remove the battery cover to unroute the trackpad flex cable. Then reattach the battery cover. Connect the trackpad flex cable to the logic board. Reinstall the trackpad cowling and 2 T5 screws. Before installing the new BMU Mylar cover, use a black stick to remove any residual foam that might be stuck on the BMU board. Then attach the new BMU Mylar cover that came with the replacement logic board. Refer to the service guide to complete the repair. Well, that's it for the logic board repair. Take a look at the page below for the last steps.